Hi, Peace Family. I'm just doing a quick tutorial to show you the ways you can create a button on Android and wire them together. There's many ways of doing this. Well, there's about 3 ways of doing this, maybe more, but these are the ways that I know. So I'm going to show you quickly. First of all, I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call it button test 2 because I think I did one before. So I'll call it button test 2 and click next. And I'm going to say next, leave all the defaults. I'm going to create an empty activity and I'm going to leave main activity. So button test 2 is building. So it's creating all the default layouts and it's creating some of the default Java files for you right now. This main activity here in the resources, this activity underscore main XML file. Okay, so by default it's just created a hello world and you see it's called button test 2. So if I run this as is, you'll see it's going to create an emulator over here. So what it's doing is building and then it's going to install it on this virtual phone here. Okay, so you should see hello world. You see this is the virtual phone. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to keep it as basic as possible. We're going to create a text field. So there's one there already, I'm going to delete it, I'm going to create another one. There's widgets down here, there's many widgets that you can use. So all we're interested in right now is a text field. Just drag it onto the layout. Let's create 30. And now I'm going to drag a button widget and just put it straight underneath like so. Layout width match the parent, and the parent is this whole relative view. So I'm going to match parent. Okay, each layout has got a XML version of it. If you click on text at the bottom, now you can see that it says relative layout and the ID has got is active underscore main for the whole relative layout, which is the whole thing, like here, the whole thing. Underneath you'll see text view, and text view's got an ID of text view. With you see text size 30 ESP, and a button has an ID of button. Very simple. But if you see underneath it says layout underscore below. Now this is saying that this is relative to this. First of all, I'm just gonna call this, I'm just gonna change the text on this, something simple. So you go on the property section here and then you can change this. Let me say click me. Now I'm gonna go to the text view, my text view, could be anything really. So what we want to do is when I click on this button, change this text view to say geekmoment.co.uk. This section under here, there is something called the main activity, and this is actually like a Java file. As you can see, this is like the Android version of Java. Really, this tutorial's for people that know a bit about programming already, so I'm not going to go too basic into what each thing does. This main activity here, it extends this app compact activity there is an onCreate method, but this is the one we're overriding right now. So the first thing you need to do is you need internal objects, references. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a reference to button. I'll call it my button. There's a reference to the text view. I'm call it my text view. Okay, so you see it goes red, and what that's actually meaning is that it hasn't been imported. So I'll click on there, and I can press Alt and Enter, or I should see a little symbol come up. I don't know if it's going to come up. It's not coming up. Oh, there you go. See the symbol? If I click on it, and I can say import class, so the class gets imported from android.widget.button. Okay, so now we've got an object instance of button and text field. Now we want to wire the widgets that are on the active underscore main to these and widgets. We want to wire this to the object within the Java file. Let's go back to the Java. And sometimes when I double click on these things, what you really need to focus on is what's up here. This is what's being shown. So right now I'm in the main activity.java. Now what you can see here is that as part of the onCreate, it passes a few, save states in. I'm not going to go into that. But here, you're setting the context view and you are mapping r.layout.activity underscore main, which is here, activity underscore main, excluding .xml. You're saying get the context and bring it in here. So now we can do stuff with it. So what we want to do, remember here we've got an object of my button and an object of my text field. So what we're going to do is wire the widgets to the object instance. So first of all, I say my button equals. Now what we want to do is we want to find the view by the ID. Now when I say view, most things are inherited from view. So text view, button, even a button is a view. What I want to do is say my button equals find view by ID, and then the resources dot ID dot button. Okay, so now I've got a reference to that widget in my Java code. So there's still a problem, as you can see. It doesn't know what the heck this is. It's saying it's an incompatible type. Well, all it is that this is returning an integer. So we need to cast it to a button integer. To a button, shall I say. Let's just see what happens. Aha, see this red? Click on this and you can say cast, or you can just click Alt and Enter and it inserts the cast. So that's one. Now we want to do it for the text field. So my text field, my text view, and I do something similar. Find view by ID, r.id. And you can see here, text view, and it moan again, and I should be able to correct it again. But I could just do it manually because I know what it wants. Text view. Okay. So now what I've done is I've got an instance. Now I can do stuff with what's on the screen. Right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to implement an interface class called on set on click listener, and it's moaning again, so I import it. What it's moaning about is that when you override, so when you implement an interface class, you need to override some of its, you have to also override some of its methods, and on click is one of the methods. So I say okay, and you see it creates it down here. When this is called, you'll tell the system what to do. But before that can happen, you need to put a listener on the button. So then I use my button dot set on click listener, and you say this as in this view basically. So what happens now is whenever this listener gets detected as something's been clicked, it will call this function. Now in this function, sorry, this method, not function, this method, I need to tell it what to do. So now I will say if my button dot get the ID of my button, okay, which will probably be an integer, compare that to the view which is passed here dot get ID. So now you're comparing two integers really. To set my text view here, so let's say my text view dot set text. Now let's say my website. Sorry, my domain name, because right now I haven't got a website. See, the domain name, which points back to this YouTube channel, by the way. So which is www.geekmoment.co.uk. So what happens when the person clicks the button? It will set the text field to my geekmoment.co.uk, and that's it. So basically, this is just one way of doing a button in Android. There are other ways which I don't really like, but I might do another video showing you the other way of doing it. There's one way where you can do it through the XML file, and another way where you can do an anonymous button. But for now, I'm just showing you this way. Okay, so let's go back. Let's run this. So I should install it again. Okay, so here's my text view. If I click this, www.geekmoment.co.uk. Let's run it again. Okay, so I'll just run it again, and you can see it says my text view. Now if I click on the button, it says www.geekmoment.co.uk. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching my YouTube video. If you want to show support, please click on the like button. Please click the subscribe button. Tell a friend. The more support I get, the more encouragement I will have to do more videos like this. My background is computer science, so I can upload videos on Android, on Java, on PHP programming, on networking, on Linux, on Windows, Unix, firewall. I work in the industry, so yeah. As once again, show support, and I'll upload much more videos. Okay, peace, family.